We're back again for another Slugfest on the day of SAG Award nominations for 2015. We've already done one on film, and you can find that on our website as well as on our YouTube channel. But here is Paul Sheehan and Daniel Montgomery and Marcus Dixon, and I'm Chris Beachum. We're going to talk about television now. A lot of the same familiar faces from last year and the year before that, but some new ones as well. Paul, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I think the first thing to remember with the SAG nominating process is, there's 2,200 people. There's on the film side, there's a requirement that they be actors, stunt people, or singers, dancers. But there's no requirement like that on the TV side. So you have to remember SAG is SAG-AFTRA. That's the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. So your favorite talking heads from CNN are in SAG-AFTRA now. All sorts of people. And on the TV side, they could well number among those 2,200 people picking what is considered the best acting on television. So with that in mind, I think it helps to explain some of these sort of oddball choices. I mean, we're always complaining about the Emmys being guilty of TV reruns, and I think we saw that this year with the SAG Awards. There were some really top-notch performances and shows, things that we were predicting were going to win, like David Oyelowo, in Movie Mini, not even nominated. So anyway, I had to get that off my chest. I already had my rant about on the film side how they have these awards too early. Now in this case, it's fine that they have them now, but why the heck don't they at least have that same requirement that they do on the film side, that the people doing the voting are actually aware of what it takes to give a performance?
Well, I just hate I think it's crazy that a program can be a limited series everywhere at every event all year long. We're talking about, in this case this year, American Crime, American Horror Story, Fargo, True Detective, and yet at SAG, because that particular program has the same title from year to year, they consider them drama series, and none of them got in for anything.
And these are anthologies. In other words, we're going to see the cast of American Crime come back, but in an entirely new story, playing new characters, completely different. It's not The Good Wife, which is a continuing drama from year to year.
The only thing that's the same is the title and the behind-the-scenes people, which should have no effect on the actors. Mm-hmm. But anyway, and as it turned out, none from any of those four shows. And we're talking about some pretty well-known people like Felicity Huffman and Timothy Hutton and Gene Smart and Kirsten Dunst and I don't think the Horror Story people have rarely ever gotten in.
And people that either have won Emmys or were expecting to contend. Oh, and then the other, I will stop in a sec. The other thing that's outrageous on the television side is, so on the film side, you can have leads and supporting people, but everyone on television is equal. There are no supporting players. I mean, this is, again, this need, like they had this compulsion, to have these nominations announced so early to fit into the 2-hour time slot, so let's not bother giving out any supporting performances, or you have to end up in lead, and sometimes you can win there, but again, so.
The weirdest one is that there's a trophy for Best Movie Miniseries Actor and Best Movie Miniseries Actress, but no Best Movie Miniseries Ensemble. So the whole ensemble of Bessie, they're not going to get in.
Yeah.
Yet Key and Peele is a variety series everywhere in the world, but here it's a comedy ensemble, and not only is it in for comedy ensemble, two people, that's an ensemble these days.
I think that's a record. I think the previous record was the X-Files in '98 that had 4, even though it was a 2-person show. They had Skinner and the Smoky Man, so that was a 4-person ensemble.
Well, at least they're actors. I mean, I know Key and Peele individually are actors, but they're sketch performers here. They're not. We did not even know they were eligible.
Well,
the Producers Guild yesterday said that they're a talk show. So all these award shows are doing different things with Key and Peele. And the Emmys variety sketch. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I got to give Chris credit for Bill Murray. Putting Bill Murray in, because he said, I'm going to put Bill Murray in for a Very Merry Christmas, and I sort of rolled my eyes and went, oh, come on. And
I didn't predict him, though, because he didn't even get in last year for Olive Kitteridge. I thought, okay, fine, he's on the ballot, but if he couldn't get in for that last year, an Emmy-winning role, how's he going to get in for basically a variety special?
But now, given that the deadline was Monday, and given that that special only started airing on Netflix at the end of last week, I mean, I know these weathermen in Memphis and these various, the talk show hosts in,
They saw a name they knew.
Yeah. You wonder how much...
With Idris Elba and Luther, it just debuted.
Yeah.
There's no way those 2,000 people saw that.
Transparent streamed 5 days ago.
Right.
Yeah, with on the TV side, more than the film side. The film side usually is sort of following where what the Oscar momentum is going. We usually see that in the film side, but on TV, it really is a lot more name checking. Like, if they like you, it doesn't matter what you're in, they're going to nominate you. It's weirder that Bill Murray wasn't nominated last year than it is actually that he was nominated this year for Very Merry Christmas. They saw a name on the ballot, and because all those anthologies were out, all those other potential contenders, because that's what a lot of long-form programming is nowadays, is those anthologies, they're just like, Bill Murray, I like him. I like Ben Kingsley. I certainly did not see any of those. They obviously watch Show Me a Hero, which I think anyone who has seen it and who has seen a lot of miniseries and movies this year would have said, oh, obviously, you put in Oscar Isaac, you put in maybe even Catherine Keener, but no, none of them. So they don't watch. To watch it to nominate it.
Instead, you put in Nicole Kidman for Grace and Monica.
I laughed when they announced that.
Yeah, right? A failed movie, but Nightingale was too. So I mean, they're very inconsistent. I would like to, we've been so negative on them, but I would like to just mention a couple of really. Ellie Kemper, that's a great choice. I just love that, this is basically her first ever individual type, nomination other than, being ensemble in The Office. That's one where they reached out and found somebody. I love that they got Rami Malek from Mr. Robot. There's one where they reached out.
Those are
actually, one of my favorite miniseries of the year was Texas Rising, and it had several good people, but Ray Liotta was a real standout in that, and for them to go for him, as say opposed to a more of a film, a person like Bill Paxton, I thought that was really a brave move by them. I thought that was a good move.
The first two you mentioned, Kemper and Malik, they represent the freshman class. Of all of the hundreds of shows that premiered in 2015, those are the only new shows that had people recognized, it just goes to show that the SAG people, we said this last year with Transparent, they missed Transparent. The year 2 years before they missed Homeland. They don't watch a lot of current TV. They like, returning shows, established shows. And it's only when Emmys recognize shows like Transparent that they actually, the following year is when they pick up the slack. But so yeah, I'm agreeing with you actually. Those two are really, really, impressive, especially because the Emmys had a chance to nominate Kemper and they didn't.
That Kemper at the Emmys, everything about Kimmy Schmidt got nominated except Kemper, and here Kemper is the only thing to get nominated.
But also, again, versus the Emmys, which at least has expanded the categories, they're down to 5. I mean, there are 6 in comedy ensemble, I guess, because of a tie or something. But really, you're going to shove lead and supporting together and keep it to 5. I mean, it's just such. It's so. It just needn't be. I mean, my goodness. I mean, have a party. Have 10 people. Maybe, I mean, I really. It bothers me that they're not doing a better job of this because they could.
I wonder if it's also partly that, because they award film and they award television, and there's only so much you can do in film, like the best ensembles and the 4 acting categories plus stunts. They probably don't want to be seen as being predominantly a TV award show. So much more TV to award, so you have to cram everything into fewer categories because you got to cover dramas and comedies, and you got to cover movies and miniseries. So a lot of little aspects in there, like there would be 3 times as many TV categories as there were film categories, and maybe they don't want to be seen that way.
Well, why not do like the Globes then and have more, have a comedy side for film?
Right.
That's
but
right.
I know, Chris, you've said in the past they don't want to go beyond 2 hours. But what they could do is...
when they first started, they were on NBC, and I'm sure they had, especially a brand new award show, is going to have very short leash. But being on Turner the last 15 years or so, it's probably the biggest live thing Turner does all year. They even simulcast it on both TNT and TBS now the last few years. I think if they were to go to Turner and say we'd like 3 hours, Turner would jump all over that.
Because they rerun it.
That's
you
right.
know, it starts if you missed it, on January 30th at 8, you can catch it again at 10. Like, come on. Just and also you get all these amazing stars. They like to go. I mean, I do, having bemoaned who they nominate, I do think it's a very well-produced show, and certainly that opening where you get 4 or 5 famous folk explaining how they became an actor, how they got their union card, is great. And well, for Chris and I'm going to speak on behalf of the more senior members of the staff, the fact that they're giving these Veteran Achievement Awards, and it isn't just to movie stars. I mean, this year's Carol Burnett. We've had Dick Van Dyke. We had Mary, in there. Betty White. So it's great that it's that they recognize that they are all encompassing. It's film and television and weatherman. But anyway. So what? Yeah, as I've completely hijacked this to talk about everything that's wrong. What was right?
Yeah.
Daniel, what did you like among, say, the drama ensemble nominations and the drama that?
Drama ensemble, I can't say I like or dislike anything particularly. I think that's the same exact 5 as last year. There's no.
Well, they brought back Mad Men. Mad Men's been gone from there
That's
for
right.
a couple of years. So in a way, I'm that would be one, Daniel, that I would say again, on the positive side, good for you for looking backward a little bit, and a lot of these shows, once they get rid of something, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
That's the Emmy glow. I think that's totally that they would have felt. They need to. I am sure that it's that Emmy win, and finally John Hamm's going to win his individual SAG Awards. Chris, who's the knower of all things, mentioned in our film Slugfest that DiCaprio has never won a SAG Award either individually or as part of an ensemble. I guess Hamm's got a couple as part of the Mad Men ensemble, but he's never won individually. So,
Right.
I'm predicting Hamm. I don't know if we want to talk about predictions now, but
Sure.
I think the fact that he's back in and the Emmy glow, like you just said, is really, really good for him. And Kevin Spacey won last year. Actually, all 4 winners from last year are back again. But is House of Cards still as popular as it was last year? I don't think it is.
Yeah, neither Spacey or Wright even showed up last year, which I think I'm going Hamm. What you just said though really gives me pause because of all the groups out there. These are the ones that like to reward over and over and over again. It could be Spacey, Viola Davis, Uzo Aduba, and who was the comedy? Oh, William H. Macy. It could be the exact same 4 we had last year.
And
I'm with you, except for Macy. I think Tambor is going to get in there.
Oh, I don't think Uzo's going to. I think it'll go back to Julia. But I'm just saying, of all the groups, for us just to say, oh, they gave it to so-and-so last year, this is the group that gave Alec Baldwin like 7 in a row. So
I know. I looked for his name today.
They're not squeamish about doing that.
And remember, one interesting thing, we always say, oh, SAG and the Emmys don't really have that much in common, but we know they do now because the Emmys switched to more of a popular vote kind of system where there are still episode submissions, but we saw this year that the episode submissions probably didn't matter that much. So we could see a lot of, we might be able to look at who won Emmys to see who might win SAG. So. In that case, John Hamm beat Kevin Spacey there. That's a good sign for him here. Viola Davis won the Emmy. Of course, she'd already won SAG before, but she could win it again. So that's the sort of thing that I might be looking at. I mean, Peter Dinklage won Supporting Actor at the Emmys for he did not have a very strong submission episode, so they really like him. So I wouldn't even rule him out.
And speaking of Viola Davis, the fact that her biggest competition was snubbed today. Taraji P. Henson.
Everything about Empire was snubbed.
Again, I don't know if that has to do with the fact that the show's maybe not as well received in season 2. I mean, season 1 aired in January, so both seasons are eligible. But maybe I don't know. I don't want to call it a backlash, but the energy isn't as high for Empire currently as it was earlier.
Don't count out Maggie Smith and Downton Abbey. The new episodes are going to be airing in January. They're pretty darn wonderful. They're the final season that they got nominated. I mean, don't, she's stealth. And I know, Marcus,
she won't be there.
I know, and how it will, you don't think that. So Marcus's plea to SAG voters is don't give her the award.
Unless she agrees to be there, then that's okay.
But if you go on YouTube, Marcus, and search, you'll see she gives, when she is there and accepts various awards in the past, she gives wonderful acceptance speeches. When she won a Tony Award in the early 90s, and when she won an Oscar for playing an Oscar nominee back in the 70s. She gives
I would
great
even be
acceptance
okay.
speeches.
I'd be okay if a camera crew went to her house or her castle, wherever she lives, and films her acceptance speech there. That would be okay with me.
All right. So please, Maggie, make Marcus happy. He worked so hard, and he actually knows he knows who you are. You're the only actor over the age of 35 that Marcus knows, or that will admit to being more than 35.
She's a Harry Potter star.
Exactly.
Speaking of Downton, do you think it's going to win again? It's already won twice. This would be its third.
I think
it
could.
so?
I think it could. Yeah. I mean,
I think it's Downton or Game of Thrones. We just launched the Prediction Center, by the way, and I've already made my picks, but I'll change them a dozen times. Right at the moment, we talked about Emmy, like magic and sort of that buzz coming. I think Game of Thrones could win here. They love not all of these are big cast in the drama category. Well, maybe not House of Cards as much, but Game of Thrones is very, very large cast, and they just don't know a lot of them.
Right.
They don't know a lot of these people.
It's epic. It's the scale of it. I think Emmy voters, you have to remember, this is one branch of the TV Academy. This is the actors branch that forms SAG, the Screen Actors Guild. I mean, the Emmys have all the below-the-line people who were rewarding because they could vote. As you pointed out, it became a popular vote. So all those below-the-line people that were impressed by the craftsmanship of Game of Thrones got to vote for it. So I think that may hurt it in terms of versus Downton Abbey, which does have that enormous cast that's won twice.
I think if Lena Headey had gotten in here or Amelia Clarke, it would be a done deal. But it's a tough one. But I think it is between those two shows.
Yeah. And what about on the comedy? Yeah.
Orange is just a massive cast. We all knew that was going to win last year. That was like, I think 45 people picked up a SAG award off of that.
I think it's
one category.
34 this year, maybe. So it's them.
I think it could easily repeat, especially since Uzo got in. We can tell they like it. But I sort of, for the moment at least, I'm thinking Veep. I mean, that's a very friendly show to a SAG voter because almost everybody in that cast is like a character actor that they worked with. Not maybe your weatherman you're talking about or your radio announcers, but the other. I mean, when you've got Gary Cole and Tony Hale and all of those guys. I mean, they've been around a good while.
But don't you? I mean, we always talk about on the film side how whether it's SAG Awards, Globes, they're your rehearsal. They're your trial run for the Oscars. You have to give a great acceptance speech. You can win. Eddie Redmayne last year, great acceptance speech at SAG. I can still remember Uzo's acceptance speech from last year for that individual win. That look of true shock on her face. I mean, then she went on to win the Emmy. I don't know. I want to see her back up there just because I know she's gonna just deliver a powerhouse acceptance speech.
Well, I'm just going to ask Ralph if she's winning or not, because he knows every time whether she's going to win or lose. So if Ralph says she's winning, she's winning.
Ralph may be losing his touch because I got several emails from him, or maybe a couple over the past week or so, wanting me to add her into the Prediction Center for The Wiz. So I'm glad I did not.
you don't. Obviously, you don't believe.
I do not.
No, never mind. That's a Wiz shout out.
Right.
So anyway, what other things were we talking about just to wrap up on the comedy?
Does anybody have a feel on the two movie categories here on the TV side? On my initial picks, well, I think actress is a little easier. I mean, they really laid the field bare there, other than Queen Latifah. I think that that really helped her that say Monique didn't get in, or a Catherine Keener, who actors love. Actor though, boy, Idris Elba may be one of those guys that's just on a roll. He might win. This is a category where they've really picked some strange ones over the years, especially that Paul Giamatti year where he sat across the table and drank coffee. I could see like a Ben Kingsley. I remember Helen Mirren won a couple of years ago for that Phil Spector movie. She got nominated for every award show, never won anywhere but SAG for that particular movie. So I could see like a Ben Kingsley maybe.
It's going to be the person that's most respected in Hollywood, and whether that's Kingsley, which is possible. Bill Murray, I don't know. I love Bill Murray, but I don't think people respect him as much as a Kingsley type.
I know, but he's on the ballot. I mean, there were great performances not nominated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now you're opening it up to the 100,000 plus people, and some of them might. I mean, come on, maybe if
he might be just their favorite person in the group.
But to Marcus's point, you should only vote for him, SAG voters, if he guarantees he's going to show up. Because if he's not there,
right.
Also, the Netflix bump, his show or his specials on Netflix, everyone can watch it. Who's seen Tut?
Well, so is Beasts of No Nation, which is going to help Idris Elba in either category. The fact that people voting for him in one race are going to see him twice on the ballot. They may have seen both performances. He's out and about promoting Luther right now. So he's out there, and he's a likable guy who it just seems. I'm going with Idris right now. I think Mark Rylance could also get that benefit from a Bridge of Spies bump. But yeah, I'm worried about the name check for a Ben Kingsley or a Bill Murray.
Okay, well listen, thanks everybody. We still are writing articles about SAG all day today, and then we'll all be up at, I wouldn't even say the crack of dawn, before the crack of dawn on the West Coast for Globes tomorrow, and we'll have Slugfest for those as well. But do tune into our film Slugfest, and thanks everybody for watching.